Welcome, everybody. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order, please. It's 7:01.
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead and do a roll call. Sonia?
Yes. Here.
John? Alex? Andy? You need to say it out loud, please.
Present.
Thank you. Kathy will not be able to join us tonight. Emily? Here. Jen? Here. Oh, you are. Kim?
Right here.
Laura? And Michelle? Here. Great, thank you. We definitely have a quorum. And so for those who don't know me, I'm Bettina. Tonight's my first night chairing the meeting, so have some grace, please.
Be nice.
But the most important thing I want to say tonight is I want to thank Lynn for her amazing leadership in this community. And I'm going to speak as a we, not as an I, but we hope that we can at least try to carry on without you as our leader. But you set an amazing example, and you've done so much for Eastern area and for our communities. And I know that we're all sad that you had to be termed out, but thrilled that you're going to still be with us in our meetings and help us along. Okay, so the agenda is super full. I will ask, please, that you respect the time. We will be setting time limits according to the agenda. And I do have a favor to ask, since we have some new members, brand new members on our board. When we talk, if we could try to be mindful of the acronyms, because we don't all know what all the acronyms mean. So maybe, skip an acronym or two just to help some of us out so we can follow along a little better. Okay, so adoption of the agenda. Does anybody have any changes, modifications for the agenda tonight? Okay, I do. Information item number 2, which is the storm drain project, that's postponed. So we will not be hearing from those folks tonight. And the action item for approval of the minutes will have to be postponed because we don't have last month's minutes yet. Okay. Okay, right. So do I make the motion for the minutes, or does somebody else make the motion for the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
That helps.
I second it.
Okay.
I move that we approve the agenda with changes.
Agenda, sorry, not minutes. Thank you. Okay, Sonia?
A second.
No.
Oh, yes, 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 I approve.
John?
Yes.
Alex?
Yes.
Andy?
Yes.
Emily?
Yes.
Jen?
Yeah.
Or you seconded. Kim?
Yes.
And Michelle?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we're going to move into our communication from the public on non-agenda items. And please be mindful that you will have a strict 3 minutes. And we'll go ahead and take the comments online first. Okay. Becky, I think you had your hand up first. Go ahead.
Thank you and good evening. My name is Becky Rapp, and I come here tonight to bring to your attention that May is Mental Health Awareness Month. The decision planning group members make around land use and budgeting are strongly connected to youth mental health. San Diego is facing a $258 million budget deficit, and proposed cuts include reduced hours to rec centers, closures to the beach and park restrooms, fewer lifeguards, and even removal of fire rings. These services may not seem critical on paper, but in reality, they're essential public health infrastructure, especially in underserved areas. Outdoor spaces and youth programming are some of the most powerful protective factors we have against anxiety, depression, and substance use. When parks are open, rec centers are active, and our beaches are safe. When people have real opportunities to connect, grow, and stay well. Without these outlets, many teens, especially in communities that already face health disparities, turn to marijuana and other substances to cope. Reedy Children's Hospital has reported a sharp increase in marijuana-induced psychosis in teens, a trend that is directly tied to reduced engagement, lack of safe spaces, and the growing presence of high-potency marijuana in our neighborhoods. Planning groups like yours are the front line for shaping what our community looks like and who it serves. And so I urge you to speak up, protecting our outdoor spaces, preserving recreational hours, and prioritizing youth access to green spaces and positive programs. It's not just about parks, it's about prevention and equity and mental health. Let's not allow these short-term cuts to create long-term harm. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Becky. Richard, I think you're up next. 3 minutes.
Hi, thank you. Oh, I'll be short. And thank you so much. And I just like to congratulate at this time the Friends of Oak Park Library for their collaboration with different departments with the city. And I think later on you'll see.
This book needs to be written. These stories need to be told because we live through the greatest scandal in modern.
There you go. Sorry about that. Yeah. It's great that we're getting to this point, and later on you'll see a presentation about this. And I just want to say that the Oak Park Library, when finished and put into the Choice Park system, is going to be another gem in Oak Park, as our current park system is there with Choice Lake, North Choice Community Center. So, but I do want to say that I am going to be meeting with Council Member Henry Foster and his group, because we have a big concern that there are other people in his district, D4, that want to send all of their homeless car campers to Gloria's Mesa. And for those people that are familiar with the park, that's going to open up everything after hours. We have a beautiful park system. It's designed that way for day use, not nighttime use. So anyone who's interested in meeting with me, we can discuss. We're gonna discuss with Council Member Foster. You can just contact me. I think I'll try to put my contact information in the chat. Is that possible, Bettina?
No, we don't have the chat open. I'm sorry.
Okay. We'll figure out a way to do that. I will. We'll see how we work that out with the Oak Park. Unless you want me to give you my phone number, I can give you my phone number now, but I usually don't do that.
You can give, if you want to give us your email address.
Oh,
People can jot it down. Like if they-
okay, do this then. Okay, good
Okay.
idea. Okay, it's gonna be oakpark.sd@gmail.com. Oakpark, one word, .sd@gmail.com.
Okay, great. Thank you. I
All
wrote
right,
it down in case anyone wants it later.
All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, Richard. Hey, no one else online? I'll see.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ozzy Meneses with Groundwork San Diego and Choyos Creek. We're the environmental stewards of the Choice Creek watershed, which includes portions of D4, D8, and D9. We do a lot of community empowerment as well as project development. So today I'm here to tell you about the Webster Green Alley. So we're working with Friends of Webster as well as Jones, the local coffee shop, to get some community impact, community input on us developing a green alley. The alley currently right now is a whole bunch of dirt and weeds. we want to re-envision it as a pilot project that we can do throughout the entire watershed as well. So I have some flyers there at the front table. Even if you don't live in the community in Webster, we'd love to hear your feedback and support a green project like that so that we can continue doing projects like that throughout the watershed. So flyers out in the front, there's a QR code you can scan, and feel free to take some to share with your neighbors as well.
Does it explain what a green alley is?
Somewhat. Yeah, so Green Alley for the most part is an area that has green features. So we actually have a resident empowerment training coming up for Groundwork San Diego, where we go into a lot of details on what a green alley is and what green infrastructure is. Think of green being like trees, grass, permeable pavements, things that help for flood abatements and things like that. There are a couple of bullet points on the flyer that talk about it as well.
Thank you. Ozzy, anyone else? Thank you.
Andy just put his hand up.
Oh, Andy, sorry.
On the November, last year's November ballot, there was a proposition on that ballot, and it was a change in our charter. And that was trash fee. A lot of people are going to get, if not already, I haven't gotten mine yet, ballot in the mail to approve or disapprove of the final cost to each of us. And that on the proposition, the figure was $23 to $29 a month. And they want to increase it to 36, as much as 42. And then as of 2027, it's going to be $57 a month. I'm not sure if that was legal. I think they should have it according to what the proposition stated, which was $23 to $29 a month. They can't, that was what you all voted on. Now all of a sudden they're going to almost double that figure. I don't think that is right. Some of the cities around us, for an example, Chula Vista, they charge $23 to $25 a month. Carlsbad, 28 to 31. And now San Diego wants us to go to 36 to 42, up to 52, up to 57, 2027. Also, to me, it's going to be a burden on the senior citizens or those on a fixed income. If you're going to vote, you must sign the proposition according to what your house is under. Just don't sign it John Doe. If you have a trust, it has to be John Doe, comma, trust. If you don't have a trust on it, that ballot is then disqualified. You have to go in and figure out how your property is addressed. So I just want to, just information.
Is kind of a quick follow-up to that, if I can.
Sure.
I got my, well, it's not a ballot, it's a long explanation, about 7 pages. And on the second to last page is basically a no vote. If you don't care, then don't submit anything. If you don't submit something, you're assumed to be a yes. Right? So, and the envelope comes from Development Services Department. I got mine 2 weeks ago, filled it out, sent it in. Now, look very carefully at the mailing label. It'll give your APN, your parcel number, right, which you'll need for the ballot, and also how to sign it. And my property, my house isn't a trust, so I signed it that way. So that's what you have to do. Look at the envelope, the address, it'll tell you exactly how to fill it out. You don't need to guess at all. And use the APN rather than the address and things like that. And sign it the way you would sign a normal ballot. Right?
Thanks, Alex.
Yeah,
And
just
It's
kind
due
of
by,
FYI.
it's due by June 9th, I think.
June 9th, yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be in the city clerk's office by June 9th before the 2 o'clock meeting of the city council. At which point I assume they're going to be counted.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anyone else? Right. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to jump right into our community rep reports. And I'm just going to go in order of the agenda. First up is Mr. Bruce Williams from Oak Park District 4 Council Member Henry Foster III.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone. Bruce Williams, representing Councilmember Henry Foster III. Good to be with you once again tonight. I have a couple of things that I wanted to share. One, I want to say thank you to those of you who participated in the cleanup on last Saturday on Streamview. We had quite a few folks, especially from Redwood Village and Orlando Park, to show up. Maybe a couple of folks from Oak Park as well, but it was very successful, and 2 bins were completely full. So thank you very much for your participation. Lynn Edwards, thank you. Ms. Bautista, thank you so much for organizing it.
Thank you.
Secondly, and thank you.
Bringing that act.
Oh, yeah. Secondly, I just want to say, if you like this building, you can come back on Thursday, because on Thursday, the council member will be hosting a city budget town hall. So we'll have the IBA here, the independent budget analyst, here in this room, and it starts at 6 o'clock. We're going to try to have some food for folks because that is around the dinner hour, and we'd like you to come and ask questions, hear what the IBA has to say, and give them your concerns. So please be here on Thursday at 6 o'clock. That's all I have to do. Good to be with you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Yes.
Is there another date in the district for that meeting, also for the budget meeting?
We only have that one so far. Yes.
There is one for District 9 the very next day over at Hana and Randy Van. He runs Hana. It's right up the triangle.
Okay.
We're gonna be Zoom off.
No, just
Thank you, Bruce.
y'all there. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Fatima Maciel from the mayor's office. I think Fatima's online.
Yes. Hi, thank you, Bettina. Just a few updates here, guys. I do want to take note of a few important dates that are coming up, especially as we start to go right into the middle of budget season. So this Wednesday, May 14th, the mayor will be releasing his mayoral revise to the budget. So that will be taking into consideration all the budget committee hearings that we've been getting from the council this last week that happened May 9th or May 5th through the 9th. So that revise again will be coming out this Wednesday. Then after that, the council members will be having their final vote on June 10th. So please be prepared for that. If you have any questions about it in preparation or after it's announced, feel free to reach out to me. More than happy to go into depth on any specifics of the budget and answer any questions on that. Additionally, the ADU reform package is moving forward. The last that we met, it was going to our planning commission. So after meeting with the planning commission, they decided to advance the proposed amendments to the ADU and the JADU regulations to the City Council Land Use and Housing Committee. The Planning Commission did request that there be a 2-story height limit and also requested staff to present different options to the City Council, specifically in regards to development scale and also a unit count or a unit cap, and then also giving alternative FARs to the zoning, and then a minimum size for the ADU home density bonus program. So that happened on May 1st. The next hearing announced for Land Use and Housing Committee is going to be Thursday, May 15th at 1 p.m. Again, this is also happening this week. So if you want to participate and listen in on the discussion that will be happening there, that will be again Thursday, May 15th. And then the final hearing will be, if it moves forward from Land Use and Housing, should it move forward to City Council, that will be in early June. I don't have a specific date on that, but once I do, I'll make sure to share that with you guys, just given the importance of this topic throughout the city. Other additional dates to be on the lookout for are Measure B, that's also happening the first week of June, the vote for that. The parking reform package that the council has been talking about that the mayor is proposing will also be early June. And then the pavement management plan will be later towards the end of June. So those are a few items that will be coming up in the following months that are really important that I encourage you all to participate in. Once I have more specific dates on when that will be scheduled for council, I'll make sure to share those as well with you guys. Additionally, I also want to share, not sure if Roberto's here from D9, but also want to share something that both of our offices have been working on. And you may have heard last night's Redwood Village meeting, but Choice Parkway did get installation of new known parking signs. Sorry, twisting my words there, but there is no parking signage on Choice Parkway there now. So hopefully we will start seeing some cars getting to moved out of those areas. Parking enforcement is already happening there. So we have PD out there citing folks that are not following those signage that we have posted. Obviously, this has been a really long thing that our folks have been working on to get moved forward. So I really appreciate the community for their patience and their advocacy on this. And we continue to hope to work with y'all on such initiatives. But those are most of the updates that I have right now, and I'm willing to take any questions.
Fatima, I have a question. Thank you.
Mhm.
Do you have any information about the red curbing on Choice Parkway in addition to the signage not long
Yes.
ago? Yeah.
So since there's no parking signage up, we don't necessarily need red curbing there because they both do the same thing. So we just went with the the signage installation since the red curbing would be exactly the same. So there's no need for red curbing there since there's already installation. I hope that makes sense. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Anybody have any questions for Fatima? Richard?
Been done.
Oh,
Yeah, hi, thank you, Fatima. Real quick
Sorry,
question. Aside from transportation for parking, and code enforcement I'm assuming code enforcement enforces that, or you said SDPD probably does that with our traffic thing. Are those departments communicating with stormwater? Because one of the biggest concerns that we have are people who have been using that area for a long time, dumping all their stuff into the creek.
And what do you mean, folks? We talking about like larger vehicles? Because I know I've had concerns with like RVs that dump a lot of their liquids that come out of their RVs into the roadways, or are you just talking about random folks that park along that side, not necessarily RVs?
Both car
Okay.
campers, RVs who don't have a place to dispose of their wastes
Mhm.
because they're not moving from the site. And my experience, working with the county is they go to the nearest storm drain and they dump it down there. And some people even just go down into the creek. And, that is a creek,
Right.
without
Let me
question.
Yeah, let me check in with their stormwater department. I know this is a matter that Lucero had been working on for a while prior to me coming into this position. So I'll check in with her to see what the conversation has been with stormwater. From my knowledge, it's been multiple different departments working on this matter. So I'll go ahead and check in with them on an update. But to clarify your question about who's enforcing, it is our parking enforcement team within SDPD. So they are the ones that go out there. There are specific officers that only do parking enforcement. But I'll check in with stormwater to get a better update on Choice Parkway and the creek there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Stormwater enforcement in addition to parking enforcement. Thank you.
Right. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
thanks, Richard. Lynn?
So may I make a comment or no?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought Lynn had her hand up.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, Renee.
Well, you were mentioning that a red curb wasn't needed because of the signs, but those campers and trucks are really high. I just drove down that street to get here and I didn't see any of the signs, but I wasn't really looking. But at the same time, I think those campers and things are gonna block because there were at least 10 campers on that street. And they might block the signs, red curbing, anybody parking there would see that. That's just my thought, but you might want to consider it if you can't get the rest of the campers out of there.
Yeah, so thank you. I appreciate that. Just to clarify, it is only a portion. It's the signs go no parking start here and then it goes no parking end. So if there is a trailer blocking those signs, they're likely in the no parking zone. So that's when they would get cited. So if you don't see a sign directly within that range that you're in, then you're not in that range. And the folks that are within that range will be getting cited. But I'll go ahead and check in and see if I can get a better visual for you guys so you can have an idea of where those signage are. Again, this just got implemented this last week, so we want to see how it rolls out. If we start to see issues with folks not being able to see the signs and we're having actual residents getting cited, because they're not seeing the signs, then that's something that we can further discuss with transportation to see if we can potentially put red curbing in that area. So let's see how this kind of rolls out in the first week of parking enforcement. And then if we're having troubles further, then we'll go ahead and see what we can do. So I appreciate the input.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Lynn, do you still have, but we have Alita. Did Lynn have something?
No, she doesn't.
Okay, so Alita.
Yes. Okay, Alita, go ahead. Briefly, please.
Good evening, everyone.
We're short on time tonight. Brief, please, if you can.
Am I ready to go?
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Fatima, I understand your position and I appreciate that you are here addressing our concerns regarding that specific area. And I would like to ensure that our mayor knows that we really need to have both the red curb and the sign, because we live here and we see it all the time. And it's not only all the vehicles, but it's also the unsheltered. So I would truly ask that both be taken in consideration. Well, not into consideration, to also include both signage and the red curb.
I appreciate the commentary. Again, with the signage, it essentially is the same thing as red curbing. But I will take this feedback back to transportation, and we'll see what the rollout is. Again, this is just the first week, so I want to obviously give the opportunity to see if the signs work. If they're not working, and there continues to be concerns from the community, I will make sure that that is expressed and share that with transportation to see if red curbing can be placed. But I want to at least give the first week a try to see if the parking signage works. And then if we come back and it's not working, I'll share that feedback with them.
Okay, now, and I understand that, but I just want to let you know that we've been working on this for many, many years. And the time has come that we're not gonna take any more of this. So 1 week is fine, but again, I will continue to advocate with Richard and everybody else in taking care of that issue.
Of
Thank
course.
you.
Of course. I do want to assure you parking enforcement is out there, has been out there this last week, and they've been citing vehicles. So I'll ask them for actual numbers to see if we could get the number of citations they've given out since the installation of the parking signage, so we know that we can keep folks accountable for actually citing those folks and seeing, hopefully we can get some traction on that as well. Also to add, since there are a lot of RVs in that area, with the new opening of H Barracks, the new safe parking site, we hope that we're hopeful that we'll be able to transition some of these folks that are living on the streets in their RVs into this new safe parking site. It also gives SDPD a better opportunity to be able to enforce on RVs and people living in their vehicles. So hopefully that's another tool that we'll be able to give them.
Thank you.
Bettina,
Richard.
yeah, real
Richard.
quick. Yeah, you just mentioned another, where is that site at? The new parking site?
It's
Where is
called
it?
H Barracks. It's right behind the San Diego airport.
Oh, okay, I got it.
It's a complicated little location, but it's right behind the airport. If you look it up, H Barracks, will come up on the map.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Fatima. Okay, is Karen Montufar Federico here from Supervisor Montgomery Steps' office? Okay. Kate Needham Kano from Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs' office. Okay. Roberto Marin from District 9 Councilmember Sean Elo Rivera. I get done on time tonight. Uh, Is someone here from Dr. or Assembly Member Dr. Lachey Sharp Collins' office?
There's someone with a hand up.
Ah, yes, somebody has their hand up, but you're muted and you're on the phone. There you go.
Hi, this is Laura. I just wanted to let you know that I've been part of the meeting since about 10 after. So if you could mark me in attendance, and then I'll go back to just listening.
Okay, thanks, Laura.
Thank you.
Sam Gonzalez
Here.
from Dr. Akila Weber's Pearson's office.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see me?
Yes.
Awesome. Hi, guys. My name is Sam Gonzalez, District Representative for State Senator Akila Laura Pearson. I'm sorry I could not join you in person today. I have to get ready for an event tomorrow, so I'm doing all this tech stuff. But if you guys see behind me, there's cubicles. You guys are more than welcome to come to our Mission Valley District office. Come check it out. It's free. It's in the state building, 7575 Metropolitan Drive. Updates. Let's see. Update number one is that on May 8th, our office sent out an electronic wildfire preparedness newsletter on behalf of Senator Weber Pearson. If you did not receive the newsletter, make sure that you are signed up to receive our online updates by visiting our website and, signing up, or you can just contact me and I'll sign you up as well. Any questions on wildfire preparedness? I know CAL FIRE had a demonstration last week. We attended. We know that home hardening can really make a difference in wildfires and emergencies. So if you guys want more information, or if you don't want to sign up for the newsletter and just want to see what we sent out, shoot me an email. I'll send it to you. Let's see. Update number two is that, okay, so this one's regarding SB 569 by Senator Catherine Blakespear. This is not our bill, but this deals with the Department of Transportation regarding homeless encampments and DMAs, delegated maintenance agreements. A lot of other community groups asked, for me to keep them in the loop as to where this bill is in the legislative process. This bill was introduced in February of this year. It is currently in the Senate Appropriations Committee suspense file, which means that it's being held in that committee as the legislature conducts its budget and fiscal review, seeing how this bill could potentially impact our state. If you guys want more updates, just send me an email. I'll, give you the updates. Update number three is to please save the date for our backpack giveaway and resource fair on July 12th, 2025. Again, our backpack giveaway and resource fair is on July 12th, 2025 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at KIP Adelante Preparatory Academy. That's 426 Euclid Avenue. You guys should be familiar with the area. If you don't, I was going to bring a flyer, but this is what it looks like. It's an orange flyer. I'll bring it to the next meeting. Again, we're going to be at KIP Adelante Prep or Prep Adelante, just giving away backpacks on July 12th. Do you guys have any questions on that? Okay.
Anyone have any questions for Sam? Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. I think that's, one more update before, I'm ready to disconnect. Tomorrow, I think tomorrow's May 4th. Yeah, May 14th at around 10:30 a.m., the governor will release an updated budget proposal for, the legislative budget. This is known as the May Revise. So if you want to shoot me an email, I'll send you the link to it. It is public, so you can just Google it, May Revise 2025. It should take you to the governor's site. It'll be released tomorrow. They expect it to be released at around 10 a.m., 10:30, but just keep an eye out for tomorrow. And I'm open to any questions, comments, or concerns you have now.
Thank you, Sam. Laura, got your hand up?
Hi. Yeah, I do. Hey, Sam, I was wondering how detailed the reviews that you send out are, because there have been a lot of topics recently that have come up regarding San Diego and different things that are going on. And turns out that a lot of them are based on state law. And because of that, we don't have a lot of say. And I know you guys are always busy, but are those reviews detailed enough so that we can get a very good idea of what's going on and contact our council member?
Thank you for the question. So if I understand correctly, the reviews, it depends on what the issue is. I think we as a district office can provide the community or anyone who requests a detailed report on an issue or a bill. Well, not unfortunately, but the reality is that there's so many bills passed through the legislature or just making their way that it's hard for us to look through every bill and comb it and see what will impact San Diego specifically. So we do keep an eye out for bills that will impact our district or at least parts of it. And we do try to send that communication out, but unless we know what we're looking for, it's a little bit tough to be detailed. So we just try to keep it surface level. If there's an issue area or a bill that you're interested in and for us to keep an eye on, or for me as your representative for this community, I can do that. It's not really a hard ask. I just need to know what we're looking for. And yeah, a lot of the bills that tend to affect us tend to be already enacted into law like a year ago. I think that's just very, I wish we could be more engaged in the legislative process as a community, but I understand that the hearings happen on on a weekday at 10 a.m. in Sacramento. You can see them online, and I can add to my report a link to where all the hearings happen. Because again, these are accessible to the public. These are archived, so you can go back and review each of the hearings. Some of the hearings do take about 10 plus hours at most. So it's just, again, if we know what we're looking for, I can report on it.
Well, just one quick example is the transit district area where if you live within a half mile of a bus stop or any other kind of transit station, you aren't required, if you're a developer, you're not required to provide parking now. A half mile is a long way, and we are creating all sorts of apartment buildings right now where the developers are not providing parking, and it is a real hardship. San Diego doesn't have, it's not a small little compact area like San Francisco, and it seems like a lot of the bills that seem more questionable in how they affect us come from Wiener up there in San Francisco and stuff. So we need to get more proactive and have more information about what's going on and early in the process so we can let our representatives know our concerns and contact them and let them know, because too much for too long, we've really not been paying enough attention. And then we find out that something that was decided up there, like you said, a year or two before, is really having horrible impacts here. So anything you can do to give us some updates and as soon as possible would be wonderful.
Of course. I'll add that to my report then.
Thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Anyone? Sorry, Alita, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Sam, for the update. Would you please email me the flyer so I can send it to our local schools?
Of course, I can
you.
email it to you as well.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions for Sam? All right, thank you so much, Sam. Good luck with your event tomorrow.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on to our information and action items. Our first action item is a presentation. Johnny Rivera from Fusion Engineering and Technology. Yes. There you are. Okay. He's going to be talking about a development on an existing lot, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Where's a good spot for me to, is it okay if I stand up in the middle or?
Yeah, in the middle is good.
Is there any way that you could bring up maybe just Google Maps to show the site?
Yes, our computer.
Okay, I brought a site plan as well. Unfortunately, I just have a hard copy in case anybody wants to take a peek at it. You guys are welcome to pass it around. Sorry, I only have one copy. But so this project, and I don't need 20 minutes, so we'll get back on track on schedule and everything. But the address is 4841 68th Street.
What area is 68th
It's
Street?
Eastern
And let
College
me
area.
share.
Okay.
Sorry for you guys online. Let me share my screen so you can see what I'm doing here. Moment.
Excellent. And if you could actually
It's there.
click on this layers button right there, and let's go to, I'm sorry, click on it again. Oh, there we go. That's what I wanted the satellite view right there. Okay. So my name is Johnny Rivetta with Fusion Engineering. I'm the principal civil engineer. So this project is an infill project. This area is zone multifamily. And what we're doing is we're implementing a policy. It's called a small lot subdivision ordinance that the city of San Diego has. Essentially, you're effectively getting the same density as a multifamily project, but you're creating individual lots. So the whole idea is that each person can kind of own their individual lots without necessarily being tied like via like an airspace with a traditional multifamily complex or an apartment complex. So El Cajon Boulevard is running east-west just above Amherst right here. And Montezuma is breaking off just west of this area. So as you can see, so it's an open, basically vacant lot, just kind of squeezed in there. It's a real awkward shaped lot in the sense that there's a very narrow entrance off of 68th Street. And then the property also has an access easement coming into Amherst. So yeah, sorry, unfortunately, I don't have a presentation for the proposed site plan, but essentially there's going to be a driveway coming in off of 68th Street. And then it's going to circle and it's going to go out to Amherst, and then there's going to be houses on both sides of it. So it's proposing 9 lots. Happy to report there is off-street parking. We're doing tuck under parking because I know that that's a huge issue. The woman on the phone just mentioned kind of all the parking restraints. This is also a heavily impacted parking area as well. So quite honestly, the owner of the project isn't actually required to provide the amount of on-site parking that we're doing, but just from a practicality standpoint, he knows, he's we're hitting our floor area ratio. We're not using any density bonus or anything. The topic that just came up about the distance to transit. So there are density bonuses that are allowed with close proximity to transit. We could do some offsite improvements to try to get that density bonus, but we just didn't feel like it was worthwhile to really pursue that. And the reason is, even though El Cajon Boulevard is right here, we have plenty of transit, bus stations. Some of the sidewalk is not contiguous, so we'd have to do a couple ped ramps and some sidewalk extensions. So it just didn't really make sense for the project. But as the civil engineer, we are treating for stormwater, all the normal regulations and so forth. So yeah, it's going to be 9 approximately 3,000 square foot lots, multiple stories with top number parking. There's not a whole lot to kind of elaborate on. I figured there may be some questions from the community. I will kind of just real quick kind of circle back on the comment that was made about the parking and this kind of ongoing issue that we have, because the guidance that's coming down from the state is really forcing all of the density into the urban core. And, I understand that, it's reliant upon mass transit, and so forth. The reality is that most people are still driving, vehicles around. And I think we're seeing this major issue with the density being forced into the urban core and an over densification of these areas. And that's what's leading to even more congestion, issues with parking, and so forth. Unfortunately, a lot of my projects that I do are actually in more of the, East County areas, but there's a lot of hindrances in developing in the East County. So even people that, have a vehicle and don't mind commuting, or now, post-pandemic or working, remote, and the vehicle miles traveled and those considerations aren't as extreme as maybe they once were pre-pandemic. There's a lot of roadblocks, and what I would like to see, to kind of go on my soapbox for a little bit, is for the community, or really the politicians and the people that are enacting, these laws and ordinances, is to alleviate some of those hindrances from developing properties in the East County where there is more space available. Because some people want to live in the urban core, and maybe they don't have the means to build a house, out in Alpine or Dulzura or Hamul or somewhere, but there are a lot of people that do strive for that. So we need to kind of hopefully get back to a little bit more of a balance there. With that said, I'm happy to take any questions. Yes, ma'am.
What's the height limit or a maximum height you think will happen on these projects?
I believe it's going to be a 2 to 3 story on this because we're doing the tuck under parking. So there's no ground level. So we're gonna do tuck under and then 2 stories above that.
So you have to be able to provide enough tuck under parking for all these.
Yeah, there's basically going to be a house and an ADU for each one. It could be like basically a duplex on each of these lots right here. And if you notice, like the property right below it, it's a large, 3-story apartment complex, right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Approximately, how many families will be in the unit?
There would essentially be 9 lots and essentially 2 units per lot. So essentially a house and an ADU, but they're stacked on top of one another.
Okay, so the 2 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms?
Presumably 2 bedroom generally, because we have a relatively small lot. So you probably have a 2 bedroom, maybe 2 bath, and then a 2 bedroom, 1 bath on top.
And the average cost is?
I haven't done a pro forma. I'm just the civil engineer. I could spitball a number. I would say $600,000 to $900,000.
Square footage?
3,000 square feet total. So each lot is about 3,000 square feet, and there's a maximum floor area ratio of 1.0. So that limits the total square footage to 3,000 square feet.
So per unit it is?
Yeah, so essentially with like the ADU, you're limited to a 1,200 square foot. So essentially the primary unit on the second floor would be a maximum of 1,800 square feet. And then you would have a 1,200 square foot ADU on top of that. And presumably some of that area would be for a stairwell, or actually this latest proposal that we're doing is we're actually gonna have an elevator. Yes, sir.
So are you selling these individually?
So I'm the civil engineer. The applicant is the actual owner. So yes, yeah, they are individual lots, correct?
A lot, so the lot contains a 2 units.
Correct, a house and an ADU.
So you buy 2 units, is that?
Correct, yeah, you would buy the
And
building
there'd be
together.
9 of those.
Correct,
So you got, 18 units, so.
that's correct, yes. Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to, if you could talk about that this area is actually zoned for this type of
Yes, yeah, so.
building. It's not, you're not doing one of these cram in a bunch of
Correct, no.
ADUs.
No.
It's actually zoned for this.
I mean, if you look at this property, similar size right here, there's way more units on, like, he could have built an apartment complex right there, but he chose to implement, this is it's actually the first project that I've done utilizing the small lot subdivision ordinance, but it's been around for quite some time. So again, the same idea is, or the whole idea is, you have the same density and number of units effectively as a multifamily complex, but you're providing individual lots so somebody can buy that, have their own, space.
So this isn't,
There's no variance or anything like that. We're still going through a discretionary action because it's still a tentative map because we're in a site development permit. But we're not doing any density bonuses or seeking any variances.
Yeah, I think because, the ADU issue is kind of top of mind for a lot of folks. So I wanted to make sure people are clear that this is not one of those quote ADU projects, but this area is actually zoned for this type of building.
Yeah, I think what you're referring to, so quite honestly, I have another project that's around the corner from this on Defiance, and they built a multi-story ADU in the backyard of a single family residence. And because they're near transit and you get all of these carrots that the state dangles in front of them to jam all this density into the urban core, developers, obviously they're running a business, and they're, using it to maximize. So yeah, we're not even pursuing a density bonus or an FAR bonus or anything.
So I have, Richard.
Let me go in order, the gentleman over here. Yes, sir.
So just to think about the access issue.
No, actually, we're gonna do an elevator. There's gonna be an elevator. One for each building.
Correct. For the building or the lots are.
No, the buildings are not adjoining. Think of just like a single family tract home development. That's essentially what it is. All right, let me get you out there. Yes, because there's a shared private driveway that goes through there and a fire access road and common utilities. There will be either an HOA or some otherwise a shared maintenance agreement amongst the residents. You don't necessarily always have to set up an HOA. It kind of just depends on what ultimately makes sense. There are going to be some common stormwater facilities as well, because we have to treat for peak flow, water quality, hydromodification, and so forth. So actually the front lot, it's going to be essentially a green space with a buried water filtration system underneath it. You and then.
Yeah, and we have
And
some
then we have
online.
people online.
My question was simple. How many parking spaces per unit? You said it's underneath, so it's
We're gonna have 2 to 3.
2 to 3.
Yes.
Okay.
And
Will there be any green space?
limited. We are required to provide a certain minimum amount of open space for the ordinance, and we're vastly exceeding. It's kind of like actually a ridiculously low threshold that we're actually required to, and we're far exceeding the open space requirement that's required. So
Is that including
Right.
that green space you talked about?
no, each lot has to demonstrate that they have their own open space.
Oh.
So there's essentially a narrow backyard, and then a portion of the tuck under. There's only a portion of the tuck under is going to be parking, and then it's essentially like it serves as like a covered patio, and then it opens up to a narrow backyard.
Okay, if, since we have a lot of people with questions, if you have a second or follow-up question, we'll let everybody ask their questions first. We'll make their comments and then we'll come back to you.
Are there any renderings or trying to break out?
I don't have any available. I have a graphic. You're welcome to come look at the graphic right here. Site plan.
And
People online.
yes, Richard, did you have your hand up?
Camera right there.
No, you're good.
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
thank you. I have my hand. Just a real quick question. You mentioned that you're not seeking variances. Would you give us an example of a variance and what it is?
Variance would mean that you have a substandard infrastructure that you're proposing, and you're showing that the project is basically not discriminated against, but the project requires concession of some sort of the design standards in order to facilitate the development.
And who in the city grants the variance?
We are not, just to be clear, we are not seeking a variance.
No, if you were, well, okay, well, okay, thank
So
you.
So hypothetical, if we were seeking a variance, it would be reviewed by the city of by Development Services Planning Department, and then they would make a determination of whether they either support or reject the variance, and then essentially that would go to Planning Commission, and then the Planning Commission has the discretion of whether or not to follow the guidance, which 9 times out of 10, they do. Follow the guidance, and then either way, regardless of the outcome of the Planning Commission hearing, either party for or against that variance could appeal that to City Council, and then City Council generally has the final say there.
Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. Thank you.
Okay, and then Mario online. You have your hand up?
If I can get myself, there we go. I think I'm unmuted. Hi, just, it sounds like the developers, or you guys are doing a pretty good thing about fitting into the community, but I'm having a really tough time seeing 9 lots there. I don't mind the number of units so much, but you don't have any kind of drawing that shows your configuration of the lots and the driveway to get in there?
Here it is.
There it is.
Ah, okay. Because and that brown spot, it's pretty small. Let me see if I can make that bigger. That brown spot, there already is a house there now, right?
That's correct.
Brown dirt?
That's a separate project.
Right. Well, the same owner owned all that land. So that's okay.
That's correct.
When we approved this thing like 2 years ago, there was I thought they were going to put 6 units in there, but 9 units.
I'm not aware of any proposal that proposed 6 units. So
yeah, this was like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah,
that's okay. This doesn't matter. That's what you have now. At the end of this, after all the questions are answered, if you have any knowledge, some of this discussion has already been brought up a couple of times here, so that's why I'm going to ask it now is, all these infill projects, if you have any knowledge about building larger apartments, I'd like to know why the city and the people that live and own the property along Elkhorn Boulevard and University, why the city is not encouraging them to build large apartments there instead of in the neighborhoods where people have to walk half a mile. That's all.
That's,
You don't need to
that's
respond
off
to that.
topic. Sorry,
Yeah,
this
it's off
is,
topic.
Yeah.
this is, yeah, this is
No worries.
strictly regarding
I
this.
did want to just address a couple items. So, so this existing residence right here, 4845, there's actually a rectangular lot right there. So our project actually is this portion, and then it opens up to the back area right here. The owner of this property, it's like he indicated, it's the same owner for both properties. And actually this was on the agenda, a few months ago. One of my staff engineers came to present on that.
Yes.
But again, because it's zone multifamily, you can actually build 2 residences on each lot as a by right, a ministerial permit. So you don't have to just seek any discretionary action. So Mr. Stephen McKinley, who owns the property, pulled a building permit and built a building right there. And then he's seeking to subdivide that lot right there. So again, so you have 2 separate lots. And then this lot that comes right here and then opens up to the back, that's the one that's going to support the 9 lots. So there's going to be a road coming there. There's going to be a fire department turnaround, you know, and everything. And that's what this project is.
Exit out of this way.
So I've been involved in this project for a couple of years now. We've gone through a couple different iterations, but we've never formally submitted a 6 lot, at least through my firm, Fusion.
Any other questions, comments, Alex?
So how big is the lot that you're gonna build on?
Each lot is
No, the whole thing.
oh, 27,000.
Okay, and that's why you can get 9 different parcels on that.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, just
And-
based on the minimum lot size, it's 3,000 square feet.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the road, it doesn't go all the way through to the street above? It
Yeah, so
circles around?
So okay, there's some history to this, like everything else. We originally had a one-way road going through here and coming up through there.
Right.
Approximately 18 months ago, the city of San Diego Fire Department gave us an email approval, an informal approval via email, that it was okay to do a one-way fire access road, or one-way driveway, 14 feet wide. Okay. Now, a 14-foot wide driveway does not support a large fire apparatus. So essentially what we were going to do is we were going to bring in a large water line, and we were going to set a hydrant in the back right there, so that a fire apparatus wouldn't even have to enter into the site. They could just bring their hose, hook onto the fire department connection, and address, you know, any emergency there. Subsequently, we were going through iterations. They kind of reneged on their original approval, which unfortunately caused us to have to pivot to this design up here. So in this design, the road actually comes right here and it comes up there, and this is where the fire truck would turn around. So now it's a full 20-foot wide normal fire apparatus access road. This, we have an access easement, a prior access easement coming through here. That road is actually only going to serve the back lot that's kind of tucked back into the corner right there. So we had to pivot and adjust our entire site plan because of that change up that got thrown to us by the fire department. Yeah.
Anyone else?
So they're actually, the elevator is the only access to the upper level?
You know,
Or is there actual?
I'd have to coordinate with the architect on that, because I do understand.
Okay, that's what I was
there's, like,
thinking.
egress requirements. So I know we have an elevator for sure, a part of the tuck under parking. I don't know if he has a secondary egress well.
Do you know what why this is preferable to like a standard condo building? Because it seems like with a, you know, condo building, you could achieve the same capacity.
Because people like to have their own property, and you don't want to.
Even when they're shoehorned in like this.
It's better to have 6-foot separation between buildings than sharing a wall with people and people stepping on top, you know.
Maybe.
Have you ever lived in an apartment complex?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, sound abatement is, you know, well-known science. So it seems like there could be, you know, the same capacity with some actual green space.
We're meeting all the requirements. That's
Sure.
So, you know, again, jump back on my soapbox, allow more development in the eastern corridor. And I do agree that the density going into the urban core is problematic.
Yeah.
You know, but it is what it is. It's the law. And the reality is that housing is ridiculous. And part of this reason why developers are jamming in density is because it doesn't pencil out any other way. Construction costs are through the roof. They were through the roof even before the pandemic. So.
No, your parents.
Yeah. It's even cheaper.
Okay, any Any last
Yes, sir.
questions or comments?
So if you get all your approvals, what's your timeline?
They'd probably be start construction in a year and a half. We're still in the discretionary phase. We're processing a tentative map right now. So even after that, we still have to process a grading and public improvement plan and do all that. And the reason why I say a year and a half is just because of the timelines that we're experiencing through DSD for review and approvals. The other thing is I understand affordable housing and so forth, and the city and the county are prioritizing the reviews of those. I wish that they would hire more third-party consultants or authorize overtime for their staff in order to meet the expedited schedules for those priority projects instead of bumping every other project, in its place. So unfortunately, if it's not an affordable project, then, ADUs are flooding the market as well and taking up a lot of time of the DSD is Development Services Department. They're the people that review and approve our plans at the city. So, unfortunately, a lot of the normal quote unquote projects are getting kind of pushed to the wayside, even if you do pay for an expedited review processing. So you're basically paying an extra fee to get reviewed fast. We're still seeing those timelines grossly behind. And I know someone brought up the budget, issue. It's a shame. I was hearing about, bonfire pits and bathrooms closing at beaches, and stuff like that. I mean, it's really unfortunate. You will see a change for the better.
Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Go ahead, Lynn.
A question from me. Each unit will have its own open space? Will
Yes.
there be any common space for the 9 units that are there?
No. There is an area underneath our stormwater treatment area that's actually a part of one of the lots, and we haven't quite determined whether we're going to map that a part of that lot number 1, or whether we're going to make that its own separate lot that would be managed. The tricky part there is that kind of forces the hand to have an HOA. If you have that common lot that has to be maintained, because most of the other stuff is like pavement and streets. An open space lot that's common, it requires ongoing consistent maintenance versus something where, hey, the road starts cracking after 10 years or 20 years, and then you have to pony up and get together and pave it. So we're still trying to figure out what makes the most sense as far as mapping that.
Hey, thank you so much.
Thought it was gonna be
Really
quick.
appreciate it. Thank you very much. Okay, so this committee is being asked to either recommend or not recommend. Yes. Recommend or
I'll make a motion to recommend.
okay, Emily. Any motion? Okay, seconded by Sonia. Okay. John,
Yes.
Alex,
Yes.
Andy,
Yes.
Jen,
Same.
Kim,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Michelle.
Yes.
Hey, yeses have it.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Feel free to reach out if you guys have any other questions, and has all my contact information. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. Okay, next is an information item. Oh, yes.
Just a quick point of order. Is Laura allowed to vote if she's not present physically?
Good.
I know the answer to
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, she
Can't vote in elections,
That's why
Yeah.
we do an audio vote.
Okay.
Yes.
just not in
Just not in
elections.
the elections.
Great.
Yes. Actually review the whole operating procedure. But thanks for asking.
Sure.
Okay, information and an information item. We have a presentation from Karen Baldazino Amps, City of San Diego Urban Forestry, Ready, Set, Grow San Diego project on the upcoming tree planting in Oak Park.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be representing for Urban Forestry. We actually have 3 community meetings we're attending. So my supervisor, and then I'm Karen's supervisor. Karen's at a different meeting right now. So
Okay,
my
thanks, Amy.
yeah, my name's Amy. Sorry about that.
You have a 15-minute time for your presentation, please.
Okay. Yeah, I'll do I'm gonna try to do 10 and then leave 5 minutes for questions. And
Okay.
is there a way I can share my screen so I can present?
Now we're gonna figure that out in just a second.
Okay,
Go ahead.
it's open already, I believe. See if you can try to share.
Yeah, she'll have to do it from her end.
Okay, perfect. Okay. How is that looking for you guys?
Yes, we can see it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty. So my name's Amy Nonaka, and just interrupt if you have questions, but I'm gonna try to just go through the presentation and take questions at the end in case something you ask is gonna be something I talk about later. But I'm here to talk a little bit about urban forestry program, but primarily our tree planting initiative, Ready, Set, Grow San Diego. So a little bit about urban forestry. Our mission statement is to plant, protect, promote, and maintain trees for livable and sustainable communities. And the vision of our program is to grow and maintain a world-class urban forest. So what does that look like? The core of our work is tree maintenance, and that includes 250,000 plus street trees and about 600,000 park trees. And that includes pruning of 50,000 palm trees, as well as 6,000 get it done requests evaluated every year. We also have emergency tree work for public safety. So we do have part of our team that works on an on-call schedule. So if we have storm patrol going on, we have people around the clock to address trees that are fallen or in the right of way for public safety. Now, Ready, Set, Grow, for those of you who may not have heard about this tree planting project, it's a $10 million federal grant from the U.S. Forest Service, and this is actually the second largest of its type in the state of California. We are aiming to do 5,000 new trees within this project scope. We also are going to work on protecting existing trees. And the way we're going to accomplish that is through things like tree well expansion, harmful tree grate removal, sidewalk redesigns around existing trees. And most importantly, when we plant the new trees, we are also going to be doing a water establishment period. So for the first year, once a week. For the second year, once every other week. And the third year will be once a month. Our project areas, I'm not sure exactly how large this green is there, but I know this map is a little bit hard to see, but our project areas in the northern side is going to be Linda Vista, and then moving down, City Heights, Oak Park, Encanto neighborhoods, that's things like Lincoln Park, Valencia Park areas, Bay Terraces, Paradise Hills, and then our most southern region is Otay Mesa West and Nestor areas. This is a little bit of an educational piece about where we're going to be planting the trees and the city's right-of-way. So there's two types of areas in the right-of-way that we're going to be doing tree planting. This first one is called sidewalk curb adjacent, and really it's just a fancy way to say the right-of-way for this type of tree planting location is on the inside of the sidewalk. So you have the road, the sidewalk, which is usually about 4 to 5 feet wide. And then in the city of San Diego, most right-of-ways are about 10 feet. You can always look at the right-of-way map online to see exactly how large the right-of-way is in any given area. But in this graphic, you can see that 10 feet includes a sidewalk and that planting area. And then there's a small fence, which may or may not be there for a property. So let me show you a picture of what it looks like in real life. This is a picture of what the right-of-way may look like when there isn't a fence. And so you see the road at the very bottom, the sidewalk, and then right on the outside of the sidewalk is that little right-of-way and the dotted line showing where we would be able to plant a tree. This is a location that we consider an opt-in location. So if you have a space like this and you're interested in receiving a free street tree, you can reach out to us. We'll evaluate the area, see if a tree can get planted, and mark it out for a tree. The second type of area we can plant in is a planting strip. And that's pretty self-explanatory. In this scenario, it's the opposite. You have the road and then the planting strip, and the divider between the private property and the planting location is the sidewalk. So similar situation, still 10 feet, but you have maybe a 3 to 5 foot planting strip. And if you have one of these as well, same thing, you can reach out to say, I have a planting strip. There's nothing there right now. I would like to have a tree planted here. We have about 30 species on our tree planting list. You can let us know if you have any preferences and we'll evaluate your site. If we can plant, we will. Here's just a real life picture of that if anyone needs. All right, benefits of trees. So I think a lot of us know some basic benefits of trees, like they improve air quality, they give more shade coverage. The summer's coming up, they help decrease temperatures. Beautification is maybe a little bit more subjective, but there are actually studies showing that it does help with your health and can provide a relaxing environment. There are some countries where they actually prescribe being around trees and forested areas as a part of a wellness routine. And most importantly, in these urban areas where we're trying to increase tree canopy for the long term, it increases walkability in those neighborhoods itself. So here's a little bit of updates of what we've accomplished so far this fiscal year. We have planted almost 2,000 trees to date. And primarily we started planting at the end of February. So we've been on a pretty expedited, ambitious push. And we are slated to reach 2,000 trees before the end of this month. And that will complete our planting cycle for this year. If you look to the right, coming up next, we are planning on doing 3,000 trees planting in fiscal year 26. So we'll start up planting again in October once the weather's not as hot, and it will be better to establish new trees at that time. Some other things that we've accomplished this year, we have hosted 5 community forums in Otay Mesa, in Bay Terraces, Paradise Hills, and in Kanto. We have Oak Park will be our next community forum, and we are scheduled to have that in mid to late July. So we're working on that right now. And once we have everything booked and the invite created, we will share that out. So keep an eye out if you're interested in attending. This week, we also have some planting events coming up. On Thursday, we're going to be doing a collaboration with Park and Recs Department for Bay Terraces Community and Senior Center. We'll be planting, I think, 10 trees with the seniors over there. And then next week, we are working with a local organization and Boone Elementary School to do a planting event for the students. So this is some of the work that we do. We like to come to stakeholder meetings like this, get input, let people know this project is going on, and also get suggestions for where you want to see those trees and what kinds. Lastly, what we have coming up, we are going to be hosting tree stewardship events in late August, early September is what we're looking at right now. So these tree stewardship events are going to include educating community members who are interested in the longevity of these trees. So signs to look for, how to care for the trees long term after this project ends. You know, how as a community do we take care of the things that we're investing in today? And then our public tree planting events, we have Kate Sessions Day, that's always in November. So we don't have a date yet, but we will be doing a planting event in November. And then Arbor Day, April 2026. It's typically the last Friday of April, but those are our planting events where if you are interested, you can attend as a volunteer and help us plant some trees. And then I like to show this slide. So at the end of the day, if you forget everything that I've talked about, we do have a website on the City of San Diego. This is our website. If you type Ready, Set, Grow San Diego, it should be the first link that pops up on the san diego.gov site. And it has information here, a lot of what I covered, our project map, the tree species that we have on this, upcoming events. We have our calendar. So if you just want to see what our program is working on, not just Ready, Set, Grow events, but our program events will be listed there. We have an FAQ section, and most importantly, we have a contact form. So if you have any questions that I'm not able to answer today, reach out to us via the contact form, and that does go to me and Karen. So we usually get back within a day or two. So feel free to contact us. And then last thing, I do have to just kind of plug this real quick. It's the Get It Done app. I think everyone's probably familiar with this, but in case you don't know, this is a really useful tool for submitting reports. So for us in particular about street trees or maybe infrastructure conflict with sidewalks, this is where you can go, submit it to us, and then one of our certified arborists will do an assessment and see if there's a necessary action to be taken for that specific street tree. So just wanted to share that. And then that's the end of my presentation. I'll go ahead and take questions now.
Thank you, Amy. Are there any questions in the room? Yes, sir.
Amy, this is William Gibson. I'm with Engineering Capital Projects. Do you provide tree planting on city lots other than outside of the right of way?
Yes, that's a good question. If it is outside of the right of way, but it is within our project area, that is a potential that we could plant. But if it is a location that obviously urban forestry wouldn't own or maintain necessarily, so say it's open space division, if it's in a park for Parks and Rec, we would have to talk to the entity that owns or maintains that area, and we wouldn't plant there without their permission. So we could definitely collaborate with whoever does own that city asset as long as it's within our project area.
Thank you.
Any other questions in the room? Back there. Yes, Bruce.
Hi, I just got this call yesterday. Somebody said that came home and there was a tree in the open space and they don't want it. What should they do?
Okay, so the question is, there is a tree that was, do you know if it was, I'm guessing it was in a planting strip or not? Sorry, I couldn't quite hear you. Could you say that one more time?
Yes, it was in the strip, the green.
Okay.
The green strip.
Yes, so in a planting strip in the city's right of way. So just as a, I guess I should zoom out a little bit. Just as far as jurisdiction and authority, the city of San Diego, they can plant in the right of way. So even though we're treating those side curb adjacent areas, right, where it looks like it's an extension of a private property's front yard, even though we're treating those areas as an opt-in, technically the city could plant in any of those locations in the right of way. So in this project, if there's a planting strip and the certified arborist for our team goes out and does find that's a suitable area to plant, they will mark it out and plant for a tree. Usually what we recommend to people is, if the tree's going to go there anyway, to at least work with us about, do you have any preference of what kind of tree it is? And if it will do well there, then we'll substitute whatever we selected for that. So that's kind of what we try to do, or we try to work with them about seeing if we can move it to a certain location. If they're saying, you know, I would really rather have it a foot or two over here than this, as long as there's nothing that would be in the way, like a sign or underground utility. But unfortunately, it wouldn't be an option for them to not have that tree planted.
Thank you.
I have a question. Do you ever partner with the city on projects? Like, for instance, we'll build a new Oak Park Library. That'd be a great partnership in terms of landscaping. It'll be great because your organization would also get acknowledgement for it, and it'll be a team effort.
What entity or organization did you suggest that we partner with?
Well, we're building a new Oak Park library. And I was thinking it'd be such a great team effort because we're all about community in Oak Park. If your organization would team up with what we're trying to do, or at least try. Might not be able to do it. I don't know what the limitation would be in terms of what you're allowed to plan or not allowed to plan, but anyway, excuse me.
Amy, this is William Gibson. We'll reach out to you. Again,
Okay.
I'm with Engineering Capital Projects. It's in relation to a project that we're managing there. We'll
Okay,
reach out to you and see what opportunities there are for partnership. Thank
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, we have some questions online. Mario, I think you were had your hand up first.
All right, thank you. Yeah, one more question. You're part of does your department or the people, let me see, your section, you guys look at the whole city canopy of trees for the whole city, not just the right of way?
Well, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Question.
Well, the question is, I'd like to know if you have a way of measuring whether in the last 5 years, say 2, 3, 4, 5 years, can you, from aerial photographs, have some measurement of whether our canopy is getting bigger or smaller, and what the impact of all these ADUs ripping out all these nice mature trees is?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. And it is really timely. So actually our section is going to be doing an update for the Environment Committee. I believe it's next week. And so that is one of the items they're going to talk about, which is the LiDAR sensing data from 2021. The city had a consultant work with a contractor to get that information. So I don't know what details I can give out before we go to committee yet, but I will say that in the last 7 years, so the last reading they took was in 2014, and it did go up compared to that data. And there are some
Canopy got bigger, you mean?
yes,
Oh,
it
that's
did
good.
increase. In the urban areas of San Diego, it's a little bit I think it might be a little bit higher, but there's different, when you look online, gosh, I should have saved those links. There's a couple different other entities that did their own kind of overhead view of San Diego. And so our numbers are comparable to that data. So we feel that the data is pretty accurate.
Okay, that's good.
Mario,
Yeah.
this is specifically for tree planting in Oak Park. So if you have questions regarding the area.
Okay, on your map, you showed us different neighborhoods or whatever communities. How'd you pick those? Any special way, or just these guys needed more trees than these guys did, or how'd you come up with those?
Mario, I'm sorry. So we're going to do one question each, and then we'll come back to you. Yeah.
If time allows, because we have a packed agenda tonight.
Yes.
And we don't want to be here till 10 o'clock.
Yeah,
So-
and we have other people that have a question that haven't had a chance yet. Richard, go ahead. Thank you, Mario. Go ahead, Richard. You're muted. Oh, you can't hear me.
Oh,
You're muted.
okay, yeah, some people like me like that, but a quick question. In your slide, one of your slides, you showed that the right of way, the city right of way, let's say I have a curb, a sidewalk, and then the slide showed that the city right of way actually extends like 5 feet or 10 feet into my property. Is that correct? Not that.
Yes. So let me,
okay, there you go.
let me pull up I think this is the graphic you're mentioning. Yes.
Good.
This is something that we like to include in our external facing presentations because it's not something that we expect people to know on a regular basis. I feel it's something that most people just learn by working in right of way at the city. But yes, so in this example, the right of way, typically it's 10 feet. It's not always 10 feet, right? There's some areas where it's 40. There's some areas where maybe it's 8 feet. But we look at the edge of the sidewalk and then measure in. If it's 10 feet, for example, that's the most common. So that's the example we used here.
Okay.
And that would be that space in which we would be able to plant a tree.
So if your group
Third.
decides on a tree to plant there, you'll make sure that there's no root invasion into the wastewater pipes,
Yeah, so
potable water pipes, right?
yeah, so part
Okay.
of the process, once we do a mark out, and you can even see in this graphic here, right, on the right hand side, there looks like a water meter. And then close to the, I don't know how visible that is on your end, but close to the edge of the sidewalk, you actually see some irrigation heads there. So those are all things that we would take note of.
Okay.
But what we have our planting protocol. So if there's a water meter or sewer line, we wouldn't be less than 5 feet from there. If there's a sign, we wouldn't be less than 10 feet from there. So there's all things we take into account
Okay.
before we consider a good planting location.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
I got a question.
Person in the back.
Happens here, does the city have like a watering schedule for that, or is that an assumed responsibility for the adjacent property?
Yes, there is a watering schedule. So it's part of the budget. It's a 3-year water establishment, once a week for the first year, once every other week for the second year, and once a month for the third year.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Amy.
Real quick, Amy, if can anybody, she had a contact information if anybody had any additional questions for Amy, right?
Yes, I can email that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to another information item, the new Oak Park Library project update. Monica Arredondo and, oh, help me with your name. Can I just call you Abdi?
Yeah.
Excellent. Abdi Osman, City of San Diego Engineering and Capital Project. Do you mind pulling? Yes.
Presentation.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
We know your agenda is busy.
camera- isn't
Thank
the
you so
camera
much
behind
for.
Yeah, the
allowing
camera's
us to
behind
do-
you.
Yeah.
So you might
Hold
want
on,
to,
just a minute. Let me,
yeah, hold on one second. We'll get your presentation up in that.
There you go.
this is it right here.
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
bring it, share it. Hold on just a moment. Share it
maybe
with everybody.
stand on the other side.
Think of a little quick.
Yeah, because the camera's right behind you. Sorry about that.
We good?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. So my name is Monica Redondo. I am the project manager for the new Oak Park Library. We have been coming to this community meetings to inform you about the project and progress that we've done. To the next slide. So again, we're talking about the new Oak Park Library located at the corner of the College Grove and 55th Avenue. We're here tonight just to give you a short information about the progress that we've done. Next slide, please. The last time we came to you, you had the opportunity to review the two conceptual designs that the elected design build teams were preparing for this, voted on one of them. Since then, doesn't matter, I'll speak about it. So since then, so we've done all this, which is pretty much getting to the bottom line, which is the award of the contract. So we awarded the contract, and after that, we have been working on the design, which means we took the conceptual that you voted on and we added additional items that the Friends of the Library have communicated to Raul to get it to us. So we were able to incorporate some of these new things. And then we're right now costing those out and see how much we're going to be able to implement, or how can we come up with additional funding to implement even more funding. Go to the next slide. There we go. So that's pretty much the same. So again, we awarded the phase one, which is the design and permitting. And then we're working on awarding the second phase, which is going to allow us to award the grading and the right-of-way work. Once all the state grants come into the project, we'll be able to award the final construction. So with that, I'll let the designers talk about their design and some of the items that we're looking to implement.
Monica, my name's Ralph Rosling with R&T Architects, and we're thrilled to be involved with this project. It was a very fun submittal process we went through with the city and DRC, who's the builders that are working with us. I'd like our team to introduce themselves. So I'm Ralph Rosling, and we have Raul Diaz. So that's our R&T team, and again, we're thrilled to be working on this project. And so in the very beginning, we heard a fantastic community meeting, and it was here in this room, and there was fantastic ideas that came from the community. And actually, we're hoping that you're going to see some of those ideas that you all put forward to us. You're going to see some of them actually get into the project. Next slide, please. Flowing, there we go. So this is kind of a really beginning sketch when we were all sitting around, okay, what are we going to do with this project? And we all were very taken with the big grove of trees that comes in the park. And this is the entry that's being assigned for the major entry into Joyous Park. And we thought this grove could be this inspirational piece, and potentially the library could merge with the grove and almost become like a treehouse. So we had this big idea. What if we made a library like a treehouse? So, and then it becomes the entry and gateway into the park as well. So it's got a dual kind of thing where we're hoping that nature will come in. You'll be able to experience nature, but it'll also be a very iconic entry into the park at the same time. Next slide. So this slide kind of presents a lot of those ideas in a little bit more detail. This is the footprint of the library. This is our entrance coming in off of College Grove. The east side of the park is starting to merge with the Grove, and we're actually having windows that look out to the trees. And in fact, we had that along the south side of the library as well. The west side of the library is actually elevated up because the site drops away, and we have our sorting facility underneath. So this is up, and it has views out to the west and to the north, and they're going to be spectacular views. We've also opened the library to the north, and making this a much more quiet kind of plaza space, shielded by the library from the noise of the street. And so this was kind of the basic organizational idea as a diagram. Next, please. And then this shows kind of a bigger organization. The library anticipates future development in the park. We're connecting the trails, or we're connecting to the road. We're connecting to future parking. This also shows that plaza on the north side. And this is the outline of the library here. And this is the entry coming in. We have this turnaround that actually is a drop-off spot. And we'll talk more in detail about other elements. Need to keep going here.
Just about 4 minutes left on the time, so.
Oh my.
Sorry.
Okay. So this is the Creekside Plaza coming into the library. And one of the big ideas that we heard from the community is how can we get diversity expressed and community art as a way to promote entry, and have it go outside and go inside. This is the Friends of the Library location here. So this shows that plaza on the north side and the entry, and the Friends of the Library location there. This view is something that came up. We were asked to look at a second entry coming in, that's a gradual ramp that brings you up to the level of the porch, the community porch, which is here. This is the community room here. This is the rest of the library going back. So this is the west side of the library that has the views out to the ocean and Point Loma. And this is what looks like at pedestrian level when you come in. This is the ramp that will take you up, the very gradual ramp that will take you up as a secondary entry. This is our signage and some of the landscape that was suggested in that first community meeting, having some color right there at the entry. So this is what the library is going to look like as you come in. These are elevations. This is the elevation that you're going to see from College Grove. This is the elevation as you're coming in from the parking area. This is that sign we were just looking at. And this is the porch and the ramp coming up. Next. These are the elevations. This is from the Creekside Plaza, looking back towards the library and all the north facing glass that brings light into the library. You can see the materials. There's going to be a burnished block and a wood siding.
So I'll race through because it looks like we only have like a minute left. So the building's 2 levels. On the lower floor, there's a sorting facility and the main lobby, and with the Creekside on this side and the staff and more like deliveries for the sorting on this side of that art wall that takes you in. You can kind of see the Friends area here. Next, I'm going to go very quickly. This here. This is sort of an enlarged area of the lobby, and how you move in. You can see how the art wall comes right up to the elevator, and how you can actually look into the sorting area and see how the books move around on that sorting machine, which is really cool. Next.
We need to,
just keep going. And so these are some views. Starting at the plaza, you can see the art wall and how it leads you in, through the main lobby to the sorting area. You can go up the stairs, and we're studying different themes. One of them is about sort of the celestial things, rockets and whatnot, and about the stars. You get to the top, you look down. This is that main awe-inspiring moment of the room. Next. This is the library. Again, with that spine that takes you through, this side is the community room with the community porch, a very large collection area with the adult collections, and then surrounding it are the staff, the homework, the children's, the teens, the idea lab, which is like a makerspace, and some private study rooms. So you can see we've been meeting with the staff, we've been developing that area, been getting refined. Next. These are some views as you turn from that from the lobby, you can see like the donor wall that takes you all the way to the sunroom. You can see how the collection, the main adult collection and the circulation desk. Behind this glass wall is the staff area. This is the view from the sunroom, which actually lets you see all the way out to downtown. And this is sort of within the main space, and you can kind of see we wanted to let you all know about the idea of having skylights up there and getting light into the middle of it.
Beautiful.
Next, there's there's a children's area. I don't know. You know what? Let's just go to the renderings. Keep going because I think that again, we're bringing the grove into that children's area with an actual tree that's working, that's been turned into a column, if you will. And obviously there's places for the story time. The furniture and everything is appropriate for small children with cubbies. And then there's an area just for their children's collective. Next. There's a teen area, a place for them to play video games that's acoustically separated, a place for them to have their collection, and also for, again, the makerspace. Next. You can kind of see that here, how there's that acoustical separation when they need it, that allows them to have games, have that makerspace, but again, the connection to the outdoors. So there's big, wide views to the grove that will be protected from the sun. You know, we've been sort of dialing in where we can have them. And then this is actually a view of the staff area, what that could look like. Next.
And the staff area has a north facing glass, and they can look out to the Creekside Plaza and have good views of everything that's going on. So this one is actually the community room and the porch area, kind of shown on a bigger scale. This secondary entry comes in and still takes you to the main entry here. And then we have the lobby stairs coming up this way. So this works as the entry hub for the library. We have an elevator here, takes you up and down. So let's go to the renderings really quickly.
Yeah, if we could, yeah. real
Sorry,
quick.
this is the last one.
Because I want
This is the
to
last
get
one.
at least 2 questions from,
Yeah, this is the last one. So this is the inside of the community room, the projection on this wall, and then it opens out to the porch here. And it can be divided into 2 spaces. And then this is actually the porch. And if we were to turn this view a little bit more this way, you could actually see all the way to downtown San Diego. This is the community porch. We're at
it's,
the end here.
I think I can say, for most people, it's stunning.
Yeah,
It's
beautiful.
absolutely beautiful. Okay. We're going to take 2 questions, please. Brief,
This person have their hand up first.
briefly.
Okay, so I am the District 9 rep for the Parks and Rec Board, and I've been on the Choice Lake Rec Council ever since the North Choice GDP was formed in the late 90s. And in the far southwest corner, we had outdoor basketball courts on the GDP for the park. That's where the library is going.
Yes.
So my first question is, who are you working with in Parks and Rec to find a new home for the outdoor basketball?
That's a great question. We have an ongoing meeting with Parks and Rec. We're in a series of
I just need a
weekly.
name.
The name is Elisa.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Elisa, E-L-E-S-A, okay.
Michelle?
Michelle Belashon is perfect. Okay, thank you. So that's great. And then the question about this map was sent by the Director of Park and Rec, and there's a little gray rectangle down here where the future library and or gymnasium was supposed to go, and it says approximate area for minimum parking. Are you taking any parking down here where the rec center is going to go?
No, the rec center is a whole separate.
Okay, so
parcel, and
you're shooting the parking up north towards the creek, correct?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, we are accommodating what would be, so the roundabout that's being proposed.
here.
No, it's actually the roundabout would be.
Oh,
like
right
here.
there. Okay, a little lower.
And it will actually accommodate the road going
Perfect.
deeper into the park as well as.
But the road also has parking on the side of the road.
Right, and that's the parking that we are doing. We're doing part of that parking that they follow along on either side of that entry.
They're doing their appropriate parking for the library. Park and the rec center would then be, those projects would need to provide parking consistent with that development.
So I just want to make sure that the parking you're doing is not taking away from the parking for the future rec center.
No, and the rec center would be responsible, that development would be responsible for providing additional parking for the rec center. And then I think this road is providing a lot more parking because of all the, the ultimate build out includes a lot of.
I helped write the plan.
Thank you, Danielle. One more question.
Just one more thing related to that. We actually did a test on how much parking could go next to the community center. there's enough room for them to have the parking that they need.
We did a quick sketch. Believe me, it was a negotiation with the parking.
Yeah,
It
well,
was-
you guys might be having outdoor basketball court right next to your parking.
Okay, thank you, Andy. That'll be our last question.
When will you start construction and when will you finish the project?
Okay, so I think right now we're scheduled to start grading first part of next year. And the end date, does anybody have that straight away?
Well, we technically have two end dates. We have their contractual end date, which is in 2027. Now, the state didn't necessarily give us all the time we had asked for the grant funds. You know, when they first gave us the grant fund, the clock was very short, and it was incumbent that we would be asking for an extension. We asked for what we thought was a reasonable extension. They gave us only 2/3 of it. And so we're working hard with this contractor and designer firm to build early start packages, early start awards, and get it done potentially as early as spring of 2026. No, spring of 2026.
We're gonna take one more question.
If you don't mind, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to emphasize, in addition to the concept that they bid on and they were awarded, the secondary access is being considered. We're actually providing what would be a future location with pathway and connectivity back to the community room for what could be a observatory. And we are doing build out on the interior consistent with a NASA astronaut theme. Those were some of the additional comments that we saw were desirables. We're working hard to incorporate those in the project, using pretty much every penny that we have available for a bill.
And I would invite you all to see the actual physical model too, if you're interested at all.
It really tells a great story because it shows how the site slopes and everything. You really can get the full three-dimensional picture.
Thank you.
It's on the camera.
Excuse me.
What was that?
We're gonna take one more question and then that'll close it. Lynn, please.
Yeah, I just wanted to know, Mom, is this presentation publicly available, or is it possible to get the file that we could share?
Yeah,
in the Eastern area
absolutely.
community?
And that's a great point. So every time we come and present, we upload the presentation to the project website. We will put it there. I can also send it to you directly. And then if you remember to click in the button to log in on the website, your email address will be added. So every time we update the website, you'll get an email with.
Every time we come to meetings like this, you'll get a notification or then we're gonna be posting.
I'll make sure you share it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just want to emphasize, if you go to the website, you'll see a block. You can add your email address and you'll get notifications as to when we update the website and come to presentation.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. Yes.
Thank you.
A
A lot of these
lovely,
ideas are your ideas, right?
a
Thank you.
lovely, happy.
Can they give the slides to you to give it to us?
It'll be on the website.
Yeah. Okay, so that ends our information and action item section. Well, no, actually it doesn't. I take that back. We still have one more. We have an action item. And that is the approval of the 2024 annual report to submit to city planning. Does anybody have any questions, input on the report? Did you read the report? Okay, does anyone have any?
Can I just make a quick comment?
Yes, I do have a question for you actually, but please go ahead, Lynn.
Because I actually prepared the report. I had started it before I transitioned off. So just so the newbies on the.
Excuse me,
planning board know.
Excuse me, sir.
we do have to, the planning department requires that each planning group submit an annual report. And so it looks a little wonky because, you can't save anything once you go to the city portal. So I just copied that information out, filled it out so that Bettina will get to input it. They're just trying to find out what we did this year, what kind of project.
I have a question for you, Lynn,
Sure.
on the section for the subcommittees.
Yeah.
What about the communication subcommittee? Should that be included, or? We had the
We
meeting.
had an ad hoc.
We had the
for
ad
the,
hoc.
District, you're right.
Okay, and then, yeah. Okay, excellent. All right,
So that should be
any
added in.
other? Nope, okay, so. Do we want, can somebody make a motion to approve this with the addition of the communication subcommittee added to the list? Subcommittee.
With the edits.
Anyone want to second that?
Second, sure.
Okay, Alex. Okay. Okay, Sonia,
Yes.
Alex, yes. Andy,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Jen, Kim,
Yes.
Laura, Laura.
Is she muted?
Yeah. Yeah, she's on her phone. Muted.
Remote.
There she is. Laura.
Mute.
You there, Laura?
Laura.
Okay.
Moving along.
Laura.
I'm sorry, I kept trying to unmute, but it wasn't working. Yes.
Michelle,
Yes.
Kim,
Yes.
Jen, Emily.
Yes.
Really out there. Okay. Right. Now we're going to move on to our subcommittee reports. I'm going to let Alex say something first. But I want to remind everyone, you have 2 minutes and you will only get 2 minutes. So, Alex has an announcement.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I just want to let everyone know that this is going to be my last meeting as the representative of El Cerrito for the EACPC. I've enjoyed my time on the committee. Lorna and I have bought a home in Coos Bay, and we'll be moving to the Oregon coast over the summer. So consequently, when this meeting's over, I will have resigned my seat. Because I like working with you and hate leaving good people in the lurch. And also want to make sure El Cerrito is represented. I've contacted a neighbor of mine to see if you were interested in assuming this seat for El Cerrito, and he said yes. His name is Jim Westheimer, and he's here back there. You can stand up, Jim, if you want. And you'll know he'll be a good member because he's already asked a bunch of questions about the development on 68th Street. I've known Jim a long time. I've lived in El Cerrito 23 years. I think he's lived there longer. He also served on the El Cerrito Community Council Board. He was there when I came on. So I think he'll be a good member for you. And I'll let him talk to Bettina about the process to replace me. But anyway, I've enjoyed my time, my years on the committee, and now it's time to move on to somewhere else. And we're looking forward to it. Sorry to be leaving, but you'll be in good hands with Jim. He'll be in good hands with you. And thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for all your work. I think the Oregon coast is a pretty good trip.
It's stunningly beautiful, and
yes,
you've got a great house.
I don't think
the
you'll
bay and the ocean.
remember
and
us for
it's
even a
great.
second. Okay. All right, community updates. Danielle, 2 minutes, please.
I have 3 things. First, Little League, for Choice Lake Little League, our closing day is May 31st, Saturday. We're also having a fundraising carnival that day, so the public's invited, come on up, bid on a basket. See the kids, I think they're doing home run derby that day, so May 31st on Saturday starts at 9 a.m. We are getting very close to signing our SUP, after 10 years of working with the city back and forth. Our previous SUP expired in 2015, so it's been a process. But the city has helped us a lot on upgrading the landscaping, taking care of trees, weeds, irrigation, all that kind of stuff. So we're getting real close to signing that. Second announcement is this Saturday on the 17th, coming up over at Hollywood Park, which is the south end of City Heights, just up the hill from Home Ave on Fairmount there. They're having a sports day. This is something that Roberto might have announced if he was here tonight, because he put it all together. There are different sports, indoor soccer, lacrosse, soccer, tennis, soccer, boxing, track and field, sumo, jujitsu, athletic training, soccer, boxing, and tennis. There's a session 1, a session 2, the social hour in between. So if you want any info, more detail, come up and take a photo of both sides. There's 2 sides to this flyer. And then lastly, over at Choice Lake in June, on the 21st, I think that's 3rd Saturday, from 8 to 1 p.m. There is the fishing derby, the annual event with Star Pal, and this is only a one-sided flyer, so you can come and take a photo of that one. My updates. Oh, and Park and Rec Board is Thursday, and lots of stuff on the agenda.
Thank you, Danielle. Okay, Laura, CPC April meeting, 2 minutes. You're unmuted. Laura, can you hear us?
Yeah, sorry, I was muted still. You were right. At our April meeting, we had a workshop by the Urban Land Institute, and they've invited CPG members to participate in a mock developer activity. I don't know if you got the invite and sent that out. It's something that they want to do sometime in July, and it's a program where we take on the role of a developer and look at developer considerations. So it's kind of interesting. The wearing the opposite hat, and it might be something very fun. Did you get the link for that, or did you get the message for that yet, Bettina? And if not, I'm pretty sure I have one, and I'll send it.
Yeah, I don't believe so. If you could send it, that'd be great.
I'll send it. The big thing we talked about was the ADU. The ad hoc subcommittee came up with proposals, and we voted to support the ad hoc subcommittee proposals, which include 4 maximum units on a lot, 1 primary with 2 market rate units and 1 bonus affordable. And there are lots of different regulations within the state that say pretty much 4 means 4, like SB 9. But they fell back on a lot of state regulations and city regulations for coming up with that, and we're hoping we can get some support for that right now. And they also want to reduce the height of ADUs. Right now they can be 30 foot, and we want them to be limited to 25 feet if they're attached to a house, and 16 to 18 feet if they're detached, if they're standing on their own, and follow all other height rules. Stories would be 2 square. They were talking about getting square foot max. Square foot's the same. Setbacks for rear and side right now are side lot line can be 0 if the building only goes to 16 feet. We're recommending 4 feet for all side and rear setbacks. There have been some problems where people had the eaves of the roof overhanging on somebody else's yard space, and so it was considered airspace for the yard. And different instances where somebody wants to do work on the ADU that they've built too close to the lot line, and the people have just said, no, stay out of my yard.
Laura, thank you, Laura. Thank you, Laura. Sorry, I gotta go. Unless you
I
have
know.
something super critical, maybe just the main point. Otherwise, we're gonna move on to the next update.
Well, one more thing is they're recommending for all affordable be 55 years instead of 15. Right now, the current San Diego reg is 15. And please go, if you can attend the meeting on Thursday the 15th, do. If not, please be sure and make comments for the Land Use and Housing Subcommittee review. That's it.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, any other community updates?
I have a very quick one.
Yes,
Promise.
Jen.
Councilman Foster, fully aware of my calcitrant behavior. I can't believe that Bruce is already gone. To put in his priority budget, this ridiculously short budget, before the EIR came out, that we are opposed to the fire station, he added it to the he added to his priority list. If you're so inclined, please send him an email, sign a petition, tell him that this is not the location that we want to put a fire station in Webster. That's the thing. Oh, and the Green Alley thing, if you have time, sign up for all these things.
Any other community updates?
I don't have an update, but I'm with Council District 4 and I believe Bruce is in the hallway. So if you have any direct feedback, you can.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, no other updates. I have something I need to ask my fellow members. We need someone to do minutes for July, someone to do minutes for August, and someone to do minutes for October. So we already have all of the months assigned. We have 1 month, October doesn't have anyone, so we definitely have to fill that one. I am asking if someone would be willing to take Sonia's July and my August, simply because we are running the meetings and it's really hard to take minutes and run the meeting at the same time.
I can do
I
July.
know Lynn could do it, but she's Superwoman and I'm not.
I can do July.
Okay, so you'll do July. Thank you so much. Okay, and you'll do August. Okay.
Have a hand on the Zoom.
And Alita, well, no, this is for the board. So
I could do October.
October, fantastic. Okay. Let me make sure I get this.
Yeah, I know all the acronyms by then.
Yes, yes. Yeah, actually, it's really good. This is a really good way to learn it all when you have to take minutes.
Are we gonna go down to December?
Yes. Okay, so Michelle in October, Jen in August, and Kim's gonna do July. So thank you so much. I have one more thing to ask. So I was posting the agendas at Oak Park Library and College Rolando Library, and Lynn was posting the agenda here on site, which is required. So I will take over posting the agenda physically on site. And if someone could commit to printing and posting the agenda at Oak Park Library and College Rolando Library by no later than Saturday before the meeting, that would be super helpful. Anya, which one would you like to do, both or?
I can do both.
Oh, you're the best. Okay. Awesome. Okay, Sonia's gonna take over the library postings. Yeah. Cool. Okay, I think we've reached the end of our meeting, and it's only 9:05 or so, so not too bad. Yes, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Something.
Put my last motion.
Your Zoom person.
Alita wants to say something.
Alita wants.
Lynn? Yes, Alita?
Yeah, I had my hand up earlier, but it was okay. I just wanted to thank everyone that has really supported us through this process with our new library. I really, really appreciate everybody's support. And I just want to let you know that every time that we have an update, I will be happy to bring it up. And also, I will send out the meeting agenda to all of our list as well to alert them about your meeting, your monthly meeting as well. So thank you, everybody, for your support.
Thank you, Alita. Hey, it's 9:06 and the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.